today's not gone very good at all because we've had a local lady that's been arrested before her time. She didn't come here to be arrested. She came here to demonstrate the fact, as she's a local lady, that she doesn't want this happening. She doesn't want a water poisoning. She doesn't want the air polluting. And for that, she's been dragged around with a wrist and arrested and taken away.
Who dragged her around with a wrist?
The policeman.
Yeah, did you see that at all?
No, unfortunately I was told about it, but these ladies have seen it on live stream.
Is there anything you want to tell me about it, what you saw on live stream?
I just happened to click on and saw it on live stream, and I was just disgusted on how that lady was being treated, and I didn't really think there was any need for the policeman that did this, well, abomination to her. There was no reason for it. It needn't have been that bad.
Yeah, and you're all local residents, aren't you?
Yes.
Yes.
Have you any messages to people watching this?
Come down,
Please,
have
yes.
a chat with these even if you've just got an hour.
Yeah.
Don't
Come
be
down.
scared of being arrested, because this is a rare thing to happen. And if the police you think are getting uptight or whatever, just step to the side of the road. You don't have to be arrested. None of us want to be arrested. But please come down, because the more people we have here, the more influence we've got over the fracking people. If we've got more people here, there's things that we can prevent from entering the site. If we haven't got people here, they come and go as they please, and it's getting done far too quick. And the big rig is on its way. Any day we expect the big rig.
It's my understanding as well that you get a 20-minute process or something when it comes to stopping vehicles.
Yeah, no, that is another bone of contention. We have a right to peacefully protest. The police have told us that we can have 20 minutes. 20 minutes, all right, we don't agree to it, but they've told us we can have that. We've got to accept it. But they hold them behind the gates, which is on private property. So they get out of the vehicles, they're wandering around, having cups of tea. So they're not prepared to go. So we're not really protesting. We're not holding them back. We're not stopping them. But we can only do that with HGVs that's over a certain weight. So anything else that's being delivered that's facilitating the fracking company is free to come and go as they like. And that, to me, is not allowing our peaceful protest.
Can you just explain to me what the 5-step appeal is and why it's there?
There's no necessity for it, to be honest, but it's there to give people the chance to respond to... Excuse me. It's there to really appeal to people, to give them the chance to move before they're arrested. That's the reason it's given. But there's no necessity for it in
And
the law.
obviously there's 5 steps what you're giving them. What each step is it? I mean, step 1, what's that purpose?
I don't have to give it, so I don't rehearse it.
Oh, right.
And they tend to read from a script they've got in the book and read it verbatim, basically. So
Right, so you don't have a copy of that yourselves just
we
to
don't.
analyse?
We're not enforcers, so we don't do it.
Has anybody had the 5-step process applied to them yet?
I have.
You have? You want to tell me about it? How did it go?
It went all right. Luckily, I had a good police officer, and it was more like a friendly thing. And what I wanted to protest about, which gave me my 5 steps, was we had a curtain-sided lorry come in, and we watched them unload concrete blocks off it, and then we were told it wasn't the weight that we could stop, so they were allowing them to let it go. So I just stood in front of the gates and I said, it's not fair. You need to get hold of the Silver Commander. He needs to say that we can stop this. And while this was happening, I was read my 5 steps. And when it got to the 4th, which they didn't tell me any numbers, luckily I said, how many steps is that? And he said, 4, the next you're going to be arrested. So obviously I moved. But
That's probably a good thing to do.
absolutely.
Leave you to protest another day.
That's
Or in
right.
the same day.
Right.
So it's
yeah.
all about delay tactics.
Yes, that's it. That's what we need to do. While we delay them, we cost them money. And the more money they lose, hopefully they'll have to stop because they can't afford to carry on.
Is it sometimes wise to share your delay tactics with the public or sometimes keep them to yourselves? What do you think?
The way I've seen things, maybe to keep to ourselves, because although I haven't witnessed it, I have been told about infiltration. I don't know everybody that comes here. People don't know me. People know I've had a meeting with Silver Commander, but I can, honest to God, say I am not an infiltrator. I live here. So,
Local residents, now, do you think more people are involved with this that just don't want to show the face because they're worried, or?
I think maybe they're worried. They haven't been and witnessed it. We've had people that have come and said, God, I didn't think it were going to be like this. I wish I'd come before.
That's just how we feel, actually. Yeah. This is only our second time down here, but everybody is so friendly. We're all on the same page. We all want the same thing. To anybody, just come down, even if you've only got half an hour, come down and show your support.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Fair enough. Well, thank you very much, ladies.
Thank
I'll
you.
leave you to carry on with your peaceful protest.
Thank you.
Corporate security firm. Oh no, I put the wrong thing in. Hang on.
Well,
Yeah.
it's my understanding actually that there's local residents here, and also people come from different areas, because if they don't come from different areas,
Yeah.
they may well end up in their own area.
Yeah, because I mean, I used to, last year I was travelling to Blackpool to attend P&R, and my logic then was that if we could stop P&R in stopping that one site, like now there's sort of 4 fracking pads on my doorstep. You know, there's here and Missing Springs. There's Wrestle, who have actually been victorious in beating Egdon Resources, but we've also just had permission for exploratory drilling on the Lincolnshire Wolds around Louth. So yeah, I'm Grimsby based. So I mean that's 4 frack pads on my doorstep now, because like P&R hasn't crumbled yet.
Yeah, they've
Not
just
long.
extended their injunction, haven't they?
Yeah, injunction's monction, man.
Yeah. What have you witnessed today?
So, with this incident, I was sat at the lady's feet, and I saw the policeman approach, and there wasn't really any sort of conversation took place. He just immediately grabbed hold of her arm, sort of under here. Actually, you'll see that I've got a bruise there myself, and that's because I was teaching my 6-year-old daughter that as a means of dealing with a school bully. So that's what a 6-year-old's fingers can do, doing the technique I saw him employ on her in the first place. That began her screaming, and I think that she was shocked by the immediacy of his sort of violence and his aggression, because it was that shocking that I sort of reached out and put my hand on his leg and said, "Come on, man, there's like no need for that." And his response was just such immediate anger and hatred, you know, like roid rage hatred. It was of that sort of mindless and baseless sort of type. And then I was being read a 5-step appeal, so I turned back to I had a lady officer dealing with me. So I turned to her, and she was on like step 2 or 3. So when I turned back, the next thing I saw was, so he had like one hand that side of her wrist, and then with the other he's applying like force with the back of his hand and jimmying it up and down. You know, pressure on, and this is called a gooseneck.
Yeah, I'm assuming some people witnessed that beside yourself, and it
Yeah.
caused a bit of a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I got up because I didn't want to be a problem to, well, the female police officer, because I'm huge and she isn't. So I said to her, look, I will get out of the way if you promise to, like, speak to 2997 about his conduct with violence to women. And she agreed, that what had happened wasn't right, and that she would speak to him. And then as I looked over, he was sort of, you know, like jostling the lady about, and she's still sort of in shock at the sort of savagery of his behaviour. And then he just sort of says, right, you're obstructing the highway, and that's it. So I mean, I went back to trying to block the lorry, because as far as I was concerned, the agreement I'd made with the police officer had crumbled because she'd been arrested. And and then after that, that they put the lady in like their vehicle, alone with the guy that had just sort of mauled her, and she was in there for like, I don't know, 10, 15 minutes before a custody vehicle turned up. And it's like there should have been like a third person in there just for her sort of sense of security, because you know she's harmed no one and stolen nothing. So why is she being roughed up?
Yeah, so what I'll do, I'll try and find a link to that video and I'll post it below this video.
Yeah, thanks.
And then
man.
people can see what it is you're actually talking about.
Yeah, I'm sure I'll see it later. Yeah, I stuck his face up because I took a photo of him just for the purpose of being able to identify him in a complaints thing and explain, I'm not taking this to put on social media. And he said, I don't care. So, all right, mate, I'll put it on Facebook.
Yeah, I've actually witnessed that kind of statement from some police officers.
Yeah, well,
if I present to you a scenario, Section 303 of the Highways Act, on what grounds can you arrest somebody? 2997. If I present to you a scenario under Section 303 of the Highways Act, on what grounds can you arrest somebody for a summary offence?
He's not interested now.
So I've never met him before. I don't particularly know him,
What's
to
it
be
got to
honest.
do with it?
I'm just wondering.
You could be polite as a member of the public. He's
That's
asking
fine.
you a question.
I don't have to answer it, do I?
No, you
All
don't
right.
have to, no.
All right, sit then.
But it might help people understand what they can and can't do.
Yeah.
I might do.
Do you know on what grounds you can arrest someone under Section 303 of the Highways Act, 1980?
I'd like to know that. I know because I'm getting a bit worried with you on my case all the time.
Yeah, well.
Or is it just if they don't give you the name and address for the summary offence, you can arrest them for failure to give details? Is that the answer? I'll take that as no comment.
Yeah.
I come here equally for the constitutional problems of how the police are behaving themselves at frack pads, because there isn't this amount of police security and police protection in the whole town that I live in, you know. So to have sort of 10 officers stationed outside a frack pad in the middle of nowhere, it don't match up with the underfunded police force that we're being told about, and why knife crime's through the roof in London. I mean, I saw tears in a policeman's eyes when we were sort of just discussing, 100 years ago, you'd have been manhandling people like that for saying that women should vote. 50 years ago, you'd have been manhandling them because people would be saying, hey, you've got to treat black people as well as you treat white people. So, I mean, how many people were roughed up by the police to protect that status quo? And each of those status quos have crumbled. And fracking's going to do the same because it's a Ponzi investment scheme.
So as the history has taught, protesting is part of the future.
Yeah.
To make the future better.
Yeah.
To be able to have your legal rights.
I mean, I used to do sort of a skit, what, like the Monty Python thing, what's capitalism ever done for us? And this the sort of benefits, we've got better health care and longevity. But actually, when you think about it, that's all down through protest. So actually, what's protest ever done for us? It's given us the weekend, it's given us holiday pay, maternity pay.
It's given the change.
Yeah, it's how you do it. You protest. Because the further we let it slide, the harder it is for our children to reverse it. Reverse the tide.
I heard somebody say the best way to protest is peacefully, which kind of makes sense because there's nothing they can hold against you then, can they?
No, and equally the sort of when you become angry, you become judgmental, and with that you fall into the same sort of pitfalls of ego and trying to have a moral superiority when it isn't. It's we need the police, but they've also got to have a moral sort of. They've got to be spiritual supermen and accountable to themselves. This following order thing, it's falling apart because every person has got to be bound by their own moral code. Freedom you can grant to everybody else, but yourself you've got to keep to your dharma. Keep to your dharma. That sounds alright, don't it? Not Jeffrey Dahmer.
Yeah, you're also expecting a rig sometime soon, aren't you? A drilling rig.
Yeah. Well, it left the site where it was being kept. Before the rig turned up in P&R, it had disappeared from Marriott's for about 2 weeks. So it may not be here immediately, but they'll always be looking for a weak spot. So, I was up at 4 a.m. just patrolling back and forth just in case it turns up.
Yeah,
But everyone seems to be pretty much under the idea that today's a quiet day. So we'll just make it beautiful.
Yeah, well, that's a good insight to what's been going on today, what's about to go on.
Bring some chalk.
Bring some chalk.
Chalk against the machine.
Cheers.
There we go. Let's have that. Yeah, there's still loads of beeps. Like I sing to the police, you're not getting any beeps.
You're not getting any beeps.
Because the beeps are for the protesters who are trying to protect the locals, you know.
So fracking is ecocide, the deliberate destruction of natural environment.
Definitely been some sort of breakdown in the policing in this local area. I don't know. I hope we can resolve it. By peace and love, obviously. We can finish this. Pretty confident.
Do you think 2018 is going to be the year to finish it? Some people have got that belief.
Yeah.
What about yourself?
Yeah. All over the country people are fighting, and I think it'll be over 20. Yeah, we're not drilling yet. That's all I can say.
Yeah.
So
There's a drill in the field at the moment.
Yeah.
Before the new rig comes, will they have to dismantle that, do you know? I don't know myself.
it's big enough to keep there, but they'll probably dismantle it and take it out. The drill that's coming, there'll be 8 to 20 wagons bringing it either all in one convoy or 2 convoys.
And there's no news yet of that arriving anytime soon,
No.
but it could be expected anytime.
It could be any time, but around this area there's 2 or 3 places earmarked, I believe. So it could be stashed waiting to go to any one of them.
Do you think they're likely to fetch it in the middle of the night when everybody's asleep?
Yes, that's my personal opinion.